Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Cold Slither Band of Viper World Tour of 2025. So while the box is giving it a spin, I also removed the little part who slides in front so that we can admire the box on every side. Of course, you can see there's a lot of hidden information around here. You have Buzzer's bike, you have Gem and the holograms, you have Whipper Tool, so of course you have number 163, who is the number of the classified series of it, the Average Joe, who's also a little sneak peek about it. Let's give this a little turn over here. As you can see, Monkey Witch is behind. Of course, he was not yet in the cartoons, because the figure came out a lot later. Of course, you have the sledgehammer over here of Road Pig. What else do we have? We have his pet monkey over there. You also have a rat from one of the cartoons. You have the, of course, Dreanoks logo over there. There's plenty of little cool little Agnedox all around over there while it's still giving a spin, so that we can see on the side. We also have Zartan also over here. We have a little with his face mask over here, and of course when we're going to be going on the front of it, we're going to be seeing, of course, Torch motorbike and his flamethrower. So yeah, and also the rivals of Gem and the holograms, the misfits over here. So a nice way of connecting every Hasbro brand license to make it a bit the same kind of experience that they wanted to do in the Marvel Universe. Of course, we're going to see that Zartan is totally bored and is sitting in front in the booth for the ticket sales. So, of course, there's plenty of little logos, Destro, Cobra. Yeah, you have plenty of stuff all over the place. It's really an interesting set as such. So we're going to remove this little part over here, and we're going to be opening the Band of Vipers. So, as you can see, this is a pretty big set, and it's pretty neatly packaged. I must say that I'm really a big fan of what Hasbro has done with this box set. So yeah, it is pretty cool seeing everything here. So I will be unboxing it. I'm going to be having a closer look about it. So yeah, let's start by going into and unboxing it. Sadly, I will not be able to unbox it live because the way the packaging is done and the way of filming, it's going to be very hard. So I'm going to be removing them, and I will present them one after another. So let's start by the drum kit itself, because this is pretty impressive. As you can see, you do get a lot of interesting accessories with it. Of course, they all kind of are dismantleable, and we're taking a closer look at it. The chair does come out also. So yeah, this is pretty neat that a lot of the stuff does move out and pops out if you want to dismantle it. Maybe if you want to buy a van from the people Ramen Toys, I think this called, that they did a little van that you could put it up and then dismantle everything and take everything apart so that you could put the band on the road. So yeah, it is pretty interesting what we get over here. All the different drums, cymbals over here. Of course, the little pedal to bang against the big case underneath. So let's start by this one over here. Of course, you can see there's the nice Slither logo over here. These, of course, can pop out if you want to, and they also pop out over here. So this was a bit of a surprise because a lot of these came falling out when I took them out of the box. But as you can see, there's some pretty nice detailing. They really did a pretty good job on this. So of course, you would have the pedal who would come over here, and this would be pushing it over here to bang in it. I'm going to say that they didn't do much of a wedge wing or any other kind of it. It is pretty basic, but again, if you want to do some wedge wing or make it a bit more realistic in the way that it looks, you could do it. As you can see, same goes for these parts over here. It's basically pretty simple the way that they did it. No, this one. Yes, it also comes out. So yeah, you can see you can really dismantle and take everything apart. We have the chair over here, also pops out, pretty neat. And we have, like I said, the other drum part of the kit, and we have this one over here. Like I said, every one of these little pegs comes out. So like I said, this is a pretty neat little detail that you have on these drums. It gives a little bit of an idea of being able to dismantle it. Now that we have had a look at it, let's have a look at the drummer himself, and that would be Torch. So here is our friend Torch, and I'm going to have a closer look at him. So astonishingly, they decided to go again with the removable eyewear. If you want, the glasses can be removed. But before removing the glasses, I must say that this is something that's pretty neat, because the original Torch that came out, the glasses were not held in place, so it is nice to see that his drummer version holds better in place. So yeah, this is something that's pretty neat. I haven't removed the sticks from his hand. As you can see, he has a pearl necklace who seems to be sticking out a little bit, and of course the scarf that comes around here also, who's not something new. And let's remove the glasses and let's have a look at the head sculpt. Yeah, he does have a bit of a crazy look on his face. I'm not going to say he's the favorite one of the band, but let's try to put everything underneath. I guess we have to pull off the head and try to reorganize all of this and put in this underneath, because I think this would make more sense to have this underneath over here, and then try putting this back on over here, because it's going to be less. Yeah, it also hangs. Have to see, maybe it should go back onto its original form. Slide it like this, and hopefully the necklace will be a bit less wobbly, but yeah, like that. So yeah, as you can see, this guy is pretty scary. The detailing of the figure itself looks not too bad. Kind of like the boots over here. This reminds me a bit of Spirit with this kind of cut. If you've been playing Street Fighter 2, you will remember that there was an Indian guy who was in the newer version of Street Fighter that was Tauntaun also, who had this kind of, if I'm not mistaken, it's a long time I've played the game, but as you can see, these boots do have a bit remembering this kind of vibe over here. Otherwise, the figure itself is pretty basic, if we can say like that. And it is nice seeing the effect that they did on the vest. It's pretty hard to see like this, but it gives a bit of a blue jeans effect over there. And yeah, it looks pretty neat. Of course, we have a tattoo over here, and we do have the Cold Slither written on the back of the vest. So yeah, really pretty neat figure. And I must say, I'm really happy that finally we're getting a pair of glasses that hold on his face. But yeah, he is a bit scary. Now, jumping over to the second member of the group, I will not say maybe second, but we're going to go in that order. And that is going to be, of course, Whipper. So this is Whipper with his guitar. As you can see, Hasbro has done a pretty neat job on these different guitars. So let's remove it so we can have an admire. So yeah, it's a bit more of a solid plastic, but it still stays pretty supple. So that's kind of good, because when you're removing it from the package. But as you can see, the guitar, the paint job on it looks pretty decent. Of course, you can change these little slings for the guitar. So yeah, I really think they did a pretty neat job on here also. And as we can see over here, do the shades come off? Oh yeah, they seemed a bit. I'm not going to try to pull it off. The shades don't seem to come off. As you can see, the head sculpt is pretty neat. Hair wise also, he does have a few tattoos around over here. Let's try to remove this so we can have a closer look and admire the job that they did on it. Not much over here. As you can see, there's a lot of extravaganza going around on the pants, because yeah, let's say that this is basically what hard rock groups looked like in the 1980s or mid-80s. I had this kind of very tight pants, this kind of colorful way of dressing. So yeah, I must say that they did a pretty well job on this one. And of course, like I said, sadly the glasses do not come out on this one. Now we're going to go to the third member of the group, or the third Dreadnought from the group, and this is going to be Torch. So Torch, as the one that they did or in the original one, also does not have his glasses to come off, so they decided to go with it. It was a bit of a shame. I would have not mind having the possibility to remove it, but as you can see, he also has a lot of funky colors going on. The brace, his front arm bracelets are pretty neat also. Yeah, pretty basic for the rest of it on the paint, but again, this is based on the cartoon, so yeah, not much to see over here. Now he does have a guitar, keyboard, who is pretty impressive with some flameworks on it. So I must say that they really did a pretty nice job on it, and the figure looks pretty amazing on that behalf. Now let's finish by the lead vocal of the group, and I'm going to be putting this down, who's also some of the extra stuff that we get with it, and the leader and singer of the group, who is no other than Zartan. So here we have it. When I'm looking at his face sculpt over here and the way the hair lands, he does remind me a bit of Ozzy Osbourne when he was a bit younger. Let me know if you think I'm right on it, but or do you think he looks like somebody else? But when I'm looking at him, he does give me some vibes of Ozzy Osbourne. So of course, yellow pants, of course the lacing over here, some metallic chain to go around. Afterwards, again, pretty basic. If you look at it, there's not much going on into the details. Of course, they did not do the modification on the body, so the body does not change of color. So yeah, that's something that's a bit of a shame, but it's maybe more of a nitpick detail for that. And let's have a look at his guitar. So again, 3 different guitars. I mean, yeah, must say that they did a pretty neat job on it. So yeah, this is something that I really do like a lot, even if I'm not a fan normally of the cartoons, but I do like some good music, and I'm a pretty fan of hard rock metal also. So yeah, and that's growing up in the 80s. That means Twisted Sisters, Kiss, some other ones also out there, but just to mention 2 like that, of course, Iron Maiden. So yeah, Metallica also, that was a bit later, but yeah, as you can see, pretty neat. And then afterwards we have some extra straps over here that I don't know why they wanted to give it these extra straps. So if we want to put them on the guitars and replace them, it could be nice, but I don't see why you would want these extra straps for it. Now let's build this up, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about this set, talk a bit about the history also of this set while I'm going to give it a final spin, and tell you what I think about it as a collectible item. So now that I've built them up and they're giving a rock concert, I'm going to be talking a bit about history about these figures. What were they done before? What's a bit the history behind these? Where did they came from? What are my final thoughts? And also, do I think this is a collectible set? So, starting by the history about these figures. So these figures never came out before, were never made in the Real American Hero line. Never came out even in the 25th anniversary. They only decided to come out right now with a cover group who is doing some of their songs and made it a bit more heavy metal. The album itself, you can go and listen on YouTube. I will put the links in the description. They did some pretty good jobs on doing it, and this is, as you can see, one of the big problems who's going to be my concern about this figure or about this set. That is something that I really think is a bit of a shame. So no, these figures never came out. Now, knowing a bit the history about it, they appeared, this came out in December of 1985. We got the cartoon. So the cartoon was of called Slither, and it was episode 51 from season 1 of the TV show. So yeah, that's about much as history that we're going to be getting on it. Now, talking about the rock groups, as you may know, there must have been a lot of heavy metal fans at the Hasbro department, because when you see how many times we got some heavy metal, or even when you think about rock and roll and all the different other people that were put onto the G.I. Joe roster, or people liking this kind of heavy metal stuff. Yeah, and you can really see it by the outfits. And when you listen to the words of the song, of course, this is "We Are Called Slither, you join us soon," and a band of vipers playing your tune. With an iron fist and a reptile hiss, we shall rule. We are tired of the world, we heard it before, we're gonna play, we're gonna game no more. Don't tell us what's right, don't tell us what's wrong. Too late to resist, cause Cobra is strong. We are called Slithers, heavy battle machine. Through the eyes of the Lizard King you will dream. When the venom stings, a new order brings your our control. Sorry. So as you can see, this was also something that was done in the cartoon. There's a subliminal message who is to mind control, because of course in the cartoon we did have a lot of this kind of very fancy high-tech stuff, and this is one also maybe the kind of reasons that I did not care much about the cartoons. I did find the episode pretty funny, but again, it was more oriented to younger kids. Now, of course, when you hear this kind of words, this reminds me more of a song from another heavy metal group who's called Twisted Sisters. You know, we're not gonna take it. That song came out in 1984, so I guess somebody at Hasbro must have been, or at Sunbow must have been a fan of it. Because if you really listen to the words of this song from Twisted Sisters, there's a lot of similarities with "we're not going to take it," "no, we ain't going to take it," "we're not going to take it anymore," "we got the right to choose." So you see there's a lot of similarities with these two kind of groups, and the way that they look really does give you this kind of look. Now, talking about the collectible value of this set. Now, do I believe this is a collectible item? And my answer is going to be no. There was a huge fiasco. I did some videos. I also ranted about it because you were a premium member. It was impossible to get. If you went to the Comic-Con, you were able to pick up 5 of these packs. I mean, I don't understand why Hasbro did that. I can understand 2. Because it would make sense. If you're a collector like me, you want one in mint in box, the other one to be taken out of the box. So yeah, that is something that you definitely would like to have. But 5 does not make sense, except if you're going to be reselling it. Afterwards, it was a whole fiasco behind ordering it online. And then suddenly the chip popped out. So if you were not a non-premium member, you just needed to wait a few hours. And then they were easy to pre-order or order because they were already in stock, and that made it even worse for a lot of people and frustrated a lot of people on that behalf. And now the set is still available. I don't know if they remade some, that they re-imported some. I have no idea what they want for, but this set is definitely not selling. The people who wanted it rushed out, paid some high prices on eBay or on different other websites, and this is a bit of a shame. And I think this set will go down as a pretty not collectible item. It's very specific to the cartoon, of course, but due to the fact that Hasbro's got tons of them left in stock by the looks of it, and it means it's going to be going in clearance. We might get a Halloween sale next year or Black Friday stuff, and they're going to be giving maybe 15% to 25% discount if you're a premium member, like they've been doing lately. So this is why I don't believe that this set is going to be such a high and collectible, due to the fact that it's going to be easy to get this set. So if you like the cartoon, you like the idea behind it, you like this kind of metal look in this, go for it. It's a pretty cool set. Now, my final thoughts about it And my note out of 10 for this set, I would definitely go 10 out of 10 for the packaging. I really think they did a fantastic job on the packaging, all the little details, all the little extra bits and pieces were hidden in it, all these little Easter eggs, if we can call it like that. Yeah, really did a really good job on it. Now, the figures themselves, the band itself, I'm going to be giving it a 7 out of 10. The reason I'm not giving it a higher note is because there's a lot of stuff who is a bit missing around here and certain things that could have been different. Now, for the drummer himself, looks pretty cool, the drumsticks, everything. I don't understand why we're getting gun hands for it. This is something that is a bit ridiculous. We could have given us some hands with not holding a gun kind of hands, if we can see it, because you can really see it over here. This is something who's a bit of a shame. Going to give them super props that the glasses are holding on our buzzer, not buzzer, whipper, yes, buzzer head. So yeah, that does make it pretty cool. Another thing that is a bit of a shame, like you see while it was spinning, the fact that we didn't get any stands to be able to pose them, to give them some kind of more hard work and head banging system. As you can see, my Zartan fell over and he was not even in an extreme position compared to Whipper, sorry. Bit tired. So yeah, Whipper is holding on the stand, and why not give us those stands to go with it to be able to pose those figures in a more rock and roll fashion. Another big part about this set who is missing, who is given with Super 7, and you know that I'm not a fan of Super 7, is that we don't have a mic for Zartan, who's a bit of a shame. Even if you were not, you could have given us a stand to put the mic on and to have it in front of him, or maybe put 2 extra mics, one for the other guitarist, not the one not for Torch. It would have made sense and would have been a lot better to be looking more realistic. Like I said, when you see the drum kit, all the details who go into it, and not giving us mics makes it pretty ridiculous, and giving us 2 extra slings and not giving us mics does not make it very logic. So that's why I would be giving this set a 7 out of 10. But otherwise, I do like the look of it. I guess I'm going to have some fun posing it when I'll be building up my Lair of Action Figures that I will be talking about into another video. So that's going to be it for the review of the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 Band of Vipers Cold Slither set. If you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. Let's start a conversation. Did you pick it up? Do you agree with what I'm saying over here? Is there some other parts that I may have forgot, or other things that you would have added to it? Let me know in the comment section and let's start a conversation around it. Go and check out my Facebook page. There's some pretty cool pictures that I've uploaded, and there's some other news over there. The links will be in the description. There's also for Instagram, but I haven't been posting much stuff over there. I don't like the platform itself, how to interact and how to upload the pictures, so I'm old school and keeping it on Facebook. So until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!